thank you very much for joining us on the news review this morning. And we're going to be digging into the papers. We're joined by Joseph Akable. He will be popping up shortly. But also have here Mamavi Osabaje. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Love this one.
Well, thank you. You had a good weekend?
Yeah. Pretty tiring weekend. And I started doing something I was doing before COVID hit. There's a spot I go to on Saturdays and do some climbing, jogging, walking, and for security reasons, I will not mention where, but those who know.
We hear you. It's a good thing to be exercising around this time.
Very.
Yeah, but thank you so much for joining us, for making time and choosing us. This is the AM show, time for us to do the newspapers. Our colleague, our court correspondent, Joseph Akable, who's been busy.
There he is.
Cross-examining people at the Supreme Court Annex. Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning, Ben and Mama V.
Yeah, good morning. Hey, you know what? I was thinking, in the 2012, there were a couple of contempt issues, correct?
Yes.
Oh, I was just went down memory lane.
What are you suggesting?
No, nothing. At this trip, I haven't seen signs of anything like that. So, which is a good thing.
Well, maybe people are not commenting in an aggressive manner as they were because of the lessons from 2012, 2013. But I generally think the court is not paying attention because already some comments have been made that,
Well, aren't those comments being made right there at the courts, the premises?
Some of them, yes.
Okay, listen, let's do our business. You tell us what would happen later this morning. Of course, we know Esiedun Ketia Part 2 will be coming up. And people would love to hear what would go down. There's a video that will play. But let's get into the papers first of all. I've got the Ghanaian Times, the Finder. Maybe if time permits, 2 more papers I'll do. Joseph will do the Daily Guide, the Dispatch, and the Business and Financial Times. Ben?
Okay, so I shall do the Daily Graphic, the Custodian, and the Business and Financial Times.
Okay, so if I may, let's begin with the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Here's what's on the front page. Ghana records more COVID-19 deaths. Shisha contributing to increased death toll, attributed to KNUST. It's actually a study. A group of people carried out a study, and Shisha, that's the pipe smoking, isn't it?
Hashish, shisha, whatever name it goes under in different circumstances. But that thing was banned at a point, you remember?
It was what?
It was banned at a point.
Oh, was it banned?
Yes.
So is it still banned?
That's the question, because it was banned and people were still doing it. You know, these pubs, I remember back then in certain places in Laboni and the rest, banned, but you go to certain places and see that, Charlie, people, they do their thing.
I think right now what we know is that it has not been banned because it's everywhere. So this study essentially recommends the banning of it, but it says that it makes, if you have COVID, and you smoke, any type of smoking, particularly this one that they highlight, it aggravates the situation. So apart from same people probably using the same pipe and making it easy if a person has COVID and spreading it, it also aggravates the situation. So there's more with the study in the paper. Public Services Commission outlines COVID-19 guidelines for public institutions. They went along the lines of what the president said yesterday. If you can do a shift system, run a shift system. Right now, it's not optional, it's mandatory. Half-Assini police commander allegedly commits suicide. And I like the way the Ghanaian Times puts it, because a lot of the portals that reported it over the weekend did not use allegedly. It was as if they knew for sure that this is what the police commander had done. But he was essentially found dead in his room with a gunshot. The police are not ruling anything out. They say, according to the statement that they issued, that they will do an open investigation. EU decries monetization of election campaigns in Ghana. If you go to page 3, the Half-Assini police commander allegedly committing suicide, details there. Bulldog case adjourns to February 23. This is the artist manager, Nana Esiama Hansen, who was arrested for threatening the president. The comments he made on a television program is here, quote unquote, the president will not finish his tenure and that he will run away if he failed to pay customers of Men's Gold their deposits. So it's an ongoing case. He's been granted a bail, 70 Ghana cedis, and the court has ordered prosecution to serve him with disclosures to facilitate a case management conference. That's where we are with that matter. And then teacher of Oti Boating SHS found dead in his room. That's also a very sad, tragic one. It was his aunt who went to him essentially and then realized that door was locked, called for help. They opened and then he was found dead. Well, it was confirmed that he had died at the hospital, but apparently the auntie also disclosed that he was an epileptic patient. So they haven't investigated yet. We don't know what may have caused the death. But a sad one also to the Ghana News Agency, because they say that during the coverage of the 2020 general election, he was recruited as a volunteer. Oh. And then here's a driver who's been remanded for dealing in weed. He was just selling and the police got him. And so he's been arrested. Let's see, center spread, Supreme Court resumes election petition hearing today. On the back page, Olistan hats. It was a Gamashi distin. And my team, oh, Charlie, 2-0 there, some way. And then, yeah, it's not like Kotoko won. They shared points with Ash Gold.
It's at least better than a loss. I mean, a loss versus a
lost.
2-0 there. And it's not as painful. If it was Kotoko, like, we'll take it like that. But Charlie, this one is Oli.
What are you trying to say about Oli? Oli Dade.
This is Oli. It is more painful with Olympics.
But it's an Accra rivalry thing. So, yeah, I mean, that's just the way it is.
Okay, guys.
All right, so I'll quickly do the daily graphic and then I'll have Akabley also come through with his papers. Cost of COVID-19 test at KIA reduced to $50. Maybe we can get the right. So there we have it, banner headline. There actually being social activities restricted. And yesterday, you know, when you hear Nanado speaking Ga and then he goes, Hela, if be, then you know that Charlie Asemino. Ayekesi.
Yeah, he says it. And I said, no, I think the Chi version. Was it Ayahun? I said,
Ayahun Dada. I think I'm saying. So, I mean, I just got some humor out of that, but nothing humorous about the rounds the virus is doing. Funerals, parties, weddings banned, shift system at workplaces. Actually, he mentioned, if you don't have to go out, I mean, you can work virtually for those companies that can afford to do that. Churches to stick to 2-hour duration. And I'm just wondering, how could we do this show virtually? Not possible.
Oh, we could. I mean,
we could, but Charlie, the feel of it, like Charlie, you do your house.
I could work from home. I could work from just like Joseph is comfortably in his office. I could also be working from home. We should consider that.
Election petition, Supreme Court plays video on Asiedun Ketia today. So we'll be delving into those stories. I just wanted to take a look at this as well. 24, 25, those pages. Vetting of ministerial nominees commences February 10. And we know the first batch that will be going through. And then on page 28, absorb tertiary students' fees. Reverend Professor Ejapon Kodia charges government. This thing is still heating up, and on Ghana Connect this past Friday, I was interacting with some students, and it appears they still want this. But government has also, made a statement that since 2009, we've had these subsidies coming through, about 70%. And so what more do you want? COVID, yes, but how about our end? Northeast schools yet to receive PPE. This is a big worry. And that's it for the daily graphic, basically. On the back, inter-allies succumb to Legon cities. And of course, you know that Gamashi, that derby, Olympics ruled the capital with a 2-3 win.
Is that all in the headline?
Oh, yeah, it's all there. It's all in there. Akabley, let's take a look at the papers you have.
I'll start from page 16 of the Daily Guide.
For diabolical reasons, I guess.
Preco of
Fire burn.
That's the story there. And so that's where we started the paper review from. So we can now move to the front page.
We don't even have 26 or whatever page you mentioned.
He's at 16.
That can't be put on the screen.
Oh. The producer is also a House of Folk supporter. Okay, so the front page of the Daily Guide here says, Asiedun Ketia faces grilling, lawyers test witness. It's on the front page, and 15 more COVID-19 deaths recorded, also on the front page of the Daily Guide. The other story on the front page says, MPs test positive for COVID, and Clark Asen North MP sued over speaker election, and Nana Dwemua Bene heads UMB, also on the front page of the Daily Guide. The center spread of the Daily Guide now. It has this entertainment story, Wiser Grade says I do, on the front page, and this other story about prosecution ordered to serve Bulldog with disclosures, also in the center spread, and debt stock rises to 286.9 billion. And that story about 250 million World Bank support for development bank projects, and Nana Dwemua Bene heads UMB, also in the center spread of the Daily Guide.
Joseph, you missed one story. Aren't you a court correspondent? Haven't you seen Wiser there?
You know, I was going to ask, like, Charlie, did you just say Wiser Grade?
You want me to talk about his issues that happened?
You read the headline, eh?
He did.
Yes, I read it.
Okay, I didn't hear.
It appears Wiser, a kikino.
And I told you about page 16 as well, where the story about Olympics losing, winning. He talked to the women.
May Fireman Songo's fire burn.
Mischief cube.
But let's do the Daily Dispatch quickly. The front page here says, I have not said Mahama had said he won 2020. That is according to Asiedun Ketia. 2020 parliamentary results is on page 16. And down memory lane, what Ben Efson said about NPP and Akufo-Addo in July 2014. Some Ghanaian MPs have tested positive for COVID-19, is from the Speaker of Parliament. The back page has that story about some MPs testing positive for COVID-19, and the Speaker telling members to go for their test. In fact, I saw the story this morning that indicates that it said more than 60 of the MPs have refused to take their COVID-19 test.
Yep.
And so it's of concern to the Speaker of Parliament. It's not in my witness statement that Mahama told the world he won the polls, Asiedun Ketia. And that story about today in history, Akufo-Addo is currently the heartbeat of the NPP, is coming from Ben Efson. So those are the headlines for me this morning. Mama B and Ben.
All right, let me continue with the Find the newspaper. And on the front page, NPP refutes minorities' claim of not supporting relief for students. Prince Moses appointed general manager of Fasasi Radio. Asiedun Ketia runs away from his Mahama victory claim. Funerals, weddings, concert banned, but not exactly. If you can have a smaller funeral, 25, was it 25?
25.
Yes, 25, then that will be allowed. 17.6 million COVID-19 vaccines to be procured by June. Earliest vaccines to arrive in March. But as we hold on to the big funerals, the first time that we did this, people actually kept the dead bodies because they didn't want to do private funerals.
Yeah.
And then some of the morgues were getting full. I hope we don't get to that situation that people would actually do the private funerals. That's the way to go, really.
Actually, Mama V, the reality is we shall get there again.
We love
our I don't want to use some terms, but we love all of that. And you know that is going to happen.
Yeah.
Some people will simply refuse. They don't want a small funeral.
Another bench warrant issued for arrest of notorious fraudster. GS distribute 10 million face masks, 9.9 million sanitizers to schools. But, people have said that this really isn't the issue. It is the social distancing, the physical one. If you put hand sanitizer on your hands or you wear a face mask, but you don't do the physical distancing, really, what are you doing? But
even then, let's not forget, schools in Northeast are yet to receive their PPE per the Daily Graphic.
NLC directs Universities of Ghana Senior Staff Association to suspend strike. I realized that the Tewa one was talked about heavily, but this one that's been going on, I think, for a little over a week, we don't seem to be talking about it much. The Senior Staff Association at the University of Ghana. Now, the National Labour Commission says that they should go back to work. All right, that's really it for the Finder newspaper.
Okay, so I think I'll do the Business and Financial Times before I get to the custodian. Economy saddled with 286 billion CD debt, Ghana CD debt. That hits 74.4% of GDP. A merry deal to run for 3 extra months. And then, of course, we're talking about the Africa Free Trade Area will little affect tariff revenues. That's according to the World Bank. I just want to take a quick swipe at that story. In fact, 2, health workers fear sector is ill-prepared to fight pandemic. But you know what? I've read those headlines. I'll come to them. I want to do those 2 stories from the Business and Financial Times. So when we're done with the headlines, I'll get to those ones. Done for now. Akable, are you done with your set of papers?
Yes, Ben. I touched on the front pages, yes.
Right. Okay.
There's a last paper for me, the Daily Searchlight, but there's a story about extortion at Wager DVLA. So some persons, according to the paper, reported that they were, taking some monies that they were not supposed to, and because of that, they had to carry out some investigations. And they've uncovered through the investigation some high level of bribery and extortion at the Ouija branch of the Driver's Vehicle License Authority. So details of that. I was just looking at for another DVLA related story, but maybe I will find it and share a bit later on. This happened in the north where some people thought that they could just go and kick out the DVLA boss there. I'll find the full story and share, but that's it for the Searchlight. There are other stories. If you're interested, you can, of course, grab the paper and read.
The Republic Press, the only story I'm going to focus on, because all the others have already been mentioned in other papers, Kaswa eats poisoned meat. And this stands out. I think they are the only paper doing this story as nation grapples with COVID-19. And it says, although cows, sheep, pigs, and other animals remain the main victims of slaughterhouse activities, it cannot be gainsaid the fact that unsuspecting meat consumers are also at the mercy of the unhygienic conditions with which these meat processing facilities operate across the country, and they link it to COVID-19. I'm just taking a swipe at it because yesterday I was listening to the BBC. You know the bit about that market, I think somewhere in Wuhan, where the virus is supposed to have started. And now the World Health Organization has said that it could have been brought from somewhere else to that place because they sell all kinds of things from bats to pangolins and that it could have been even on cold meat or frozen meat and brought there. But we're overlooking this. Our abattoirs often are filthy for people who, purchase these things. And these are some of the ways that some of these things or illnesses, viruses are transmitted from animals to human beings.
So that's a slaughterhouse?
Yes, that's what you're seeing. Republic. That's what you're seeing. Look at that.
Disgusting. I don't want to see it.
Look at that. And that is a problem. We suffer in this, sub-region from the Ebola
the kids will say, that's yucky.
Well. So that's just something I wanted to
seriously
highlight. Major problem. And as we tackle COVID-19, we should look clearly at some of these matters because, Charlie, be joke cry. It's a very serious, matter. Very, very serious. You must also watch where you get your meat from, because you could be buying sickness, really. So that's it for me with the headlines. Shall we dig into the stories? I think we have some.
So this DVLA story, it's the Northern Regional Police Command deploying officers to guard staff of the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority in Tamale after a group of young men believed to be members of Kandahar Boys stormed the authority's premises and demanded that the boss exits his office. Officials did not speak, and I'm reading this from City News, that the men violently stormed the premises and asked other key officers of the DVLA to immediately vacate their office. Police went there after the men had left. But this kind of impunity...
Aren't those groups supposed to have been, aren't they the kind of groups for which that law was made when it comes to political party, militias, and whatever you want to call them?
Let's ask the Peace Council now, shall we? But it's a shame that this is happening, really. This is 2021. We've come a long way.
Okay, so I'll just say this, and then Joseph, you can come in with maybe your major story. Economy saddled with 286 billion debt. That's 74.4% of GDP. This is what it really means. I'll just make this point. It means for every 1 Ghana cedi value of productive activity undertaken in Ghana, we pay 74 pesos as debt. So how much does that leave us? 26 pesos to run, the country. Recently, we were talking about the fact that the projections by the IMF and co are pretty good moving forward, but this is another reality. How do we deal with it? Well, maybe we'd have to find some of the economists and speak to them. Akabale.
Yeah, what are we looking out for today in courts?
And so the main issue has to do with the cross-examination of Mr. Seydou Nketia. And you recall last Friday, it ended at Mr. Kotampao asking him whether he recalls that himself and other key officials of the NDC had addressed news conference where they had claimed that the party had won the election. And so it is part of their strategy to discredit Seydou Nketia, to tell the court that, look, this is not someone that you should put much premium on his testimony. And so what they'll be doing is that the facility we provided this morning, we are expecting a screen and a sound system that allows the video to be played. As to whether or not they will seek to tender the video into evidence through Mr. Seydou Nketia is another question that will be up for discussion depending on what direction the lawyers take. And so that is the main business for the day. We are told that in the video there is Mr. Mahama, there is also Seydou Nketia, then there are some other party officials who are captured in the video. It's actually part of the documents that Peter McMahon, who is President Akufo-Addo's witness, submitted to the court in terms of as part of his witness statement. And so that is what they've given to the court on that issue.
All right, Joe. We will see you at the Supreme Court later this morning. We can't wait since Seydou Nketia was trending. Would it be another trending part 2 with the National Science Center?
Yeah, I've seen the NSMQ stuff people have put
I was about to mention that is just, he's punching away.
Right now, like it's impossible if anybody would be called for contempt or something of a sort with this trending one. Who started it? All right, Joe, don't say anything. Good luck to you. Joseph Akabale is our court correspondent. He'll be bringing us a lot more at the Supreme Court with the election 2020 petition. We have to make way for sport. I hear there is a transfer window that will be shutting. So Oreko Ampofu will be here in a little bit with details of all the action that went down over the weekend, what we should look forward to.
Including that match between Accra Great Olympics and Accra Hearts of Oak, where Hearts of Oak lost miserably. Yeah.
Is he the sports presenter now? Stay with us.